Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe to Love. Here with another edition of Sports Review Topics, episode 115. We are that close, less than a week away from opening day in the NFL regular season. Um, more about to make NFL predictions, first time in a long time since the Super Bowl, but we will get back into predictions starting today. Um, the NCAA football season as well has underway. Go over some of the games that happened over the weekend, some thrillers. Talk about some teams that impress. UFC Paris, go over some of the big fights as well from this weekend and some more. But last, thank you for joining me. If you're new to the podcast and you want to see more sports overview topics videos, you can find them on the homepage. Click the subscription there in the corner. Gain access to all my videos on the channel, but sports overview topics, pro wrestling reviews, etc. But thank you. Let's get on the way. Let's get on the way. Been waiting for it for many months, and it's time to dive into it. NFL predictions for week one of the regular season. Let's go. So, we got some pretty good games to start off. Just looking into week one, got some interesting tabs to look forward to. I mean, Bills versus Rams, opening day already looks like a Super Bowl preview with the way things are hashing out. Yeah, Bills, Rams, Baker versus the Browns. We got Russ versus Seattle. We got the Steelers versus the Bengals. Two playoff teams from a year ago. Eagles versus Lions, I think, is a sleeper, really sleeper. Look forward to. I mean, Joe Flacco against his old team. Joe with the injury, Zach Wilson. We got Joe Flacco for his old team, the Ravens, Jets, Raiders, Chargers, Chiefs, Cardinals. Yeah, we got some good ones. But here we go. It's okay, so opening day, week one, Thursday. Rams versus Bills. Now, the odds I looked at were CBS Sports, and again, subject to change, but what I got for now. So, Bills versus Rams, Thursday. Oh boy. Bills 2.5 point favorites. You know, like I said, potentially a Super Bowl preview to start the season. You know, Rams, Super Bowl champions, did lose a few players in free agency, of course. Andrew Whitworth, retirement. Von Miller will be facing the Rams week one. as part of the Bills, you know, but they still have a who's who on offense and defense. Bobby Wagner, Jalen Ramsey, and on the offense as well, you know, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Cup. I mean, Allen Robinson, his first selection with the team. Unfortunately, the injury of Van Jefferson. OBJ still not healthy, so a little bit of dicey situation, but Tutu Atwell, someone may very well step up. As for the Bills, Josh Allen already a favorite to become MVP for this season. You know, the way it ended last season for them against the Chiefs in that divisional round playoff game, one for the ages, a classic, a preliminary way, premature exit for the Bills. And, I mean, losing Emmanuel Sanders, Gabriel Davis had breakout performance against Chiefs, 4 touchdowns. Gotta believe he's gonna move into that second wide receiver, if not first wide receiver role for the Bills this season. Opposite of Stephon Diggs. You know, they retooled that offensive line a bit. Um, as I mentioned, Von Miller, they still got plenty of cues on defense, although Tre'Davious White will have to wait being on the pup list. But they got athletes on defense. But I'm going to start with an upset. It's weird. I have to start these predictions with an upset. You know, Rams still got pretty much the whole majority of roster still intact. You know, gonna be some makeshifts, but this is gonna be a shootout, just the way it sounds. But I'm going with the Rams here, 33-31 over the Bills. Move to Sunday's games. Move to Sunday. And boy, have we missed Sunday football. But start off with a rivalry game. Saints at Falcons. You know, the it seems like Jameis Winston will be healthy and ready for week 1. So that's good news. The quarterback battle, as far as the Falcons is concerned, is unique. Desmond Ritter, Marcus Mariota, both have shown shine in the preseason. You know, I haven't seen Drake London's stats in a bit, but if he's not healthy, That's unfortunate, with Cordero Patterson, Cal Pitts, but, you know, I think the Saints ultimately, just missed the playoffs by a hair last season, and Jameis coming back healthy. Alvin Kamara still, Michael Thomas. Chris Olave has done very good in the preseason, along with Jarvis Landry. I just think it's going to be very good for them. Very good start. So 26-21. Falcons just cover. Just cover. Revenge game. Well, Von Miller, you could kind of say it was a revenge game, but this is really a revenge game to start. You know, Baker versus the Browns. Browns at Panthers. Panthers 2-point favorites at home. You know, we know Deshaun Watson's suspension, so he won't be present for this game. Seems like it's either going to be Jacoby Brissett or Josh Dobbs. People are throwing around Jimmy G weeks ago, but his deal to stay with the Niners seemingly has quieted those rumors. Now, listen, despite the quarterback, the roster is still heavily loaded. Heavily. I mean, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Mari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones. You know, they did lose Rashard Higgins, unfortunately, and of course Jarvis Landry, OBJ, but they got some damn good receivers. David Njoku, who they gave a good deal to. Harrison Bryant, I like him as well, provided when healthy. Lost J.C. Treader, but overall the outline is still very good. Will very much be intact. That defense, Miles Garrett as the conductor, that defense making it all go around. I mean, Denzel Ward, great corner. I mean, and Owosu Koromoa, I mean, in the middle. Now, the Panthers got talent. The Panthers got talent. I think people forget that with how they've looked as of recent. But the Panthers have talent. When healthy, Christian McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson, they just traded for Laviska Shenault from the Jags. Him, Terrence Marshall, DJ Moore. I mean, that's a solid crew on offense. And picking up Deontay Foreman along with Chuba Hubbard behind McCaffrey. Very good deal. And that defense, Brian Burns, you know, JC Horn. But, you know, it is week one. You know, McCaffrey, assuming healthy, and, Baker's going to play with an itch. So, I'm going with the Panthers here. They win and slightly cover 24-20. Just feels like it'll be a dogfight. I mean, just feels like 49ers at Bears. You know, 49ers 7-point favorites. This feels like an odd game. Simply because, Jimmy G's short restructuring extension. It's a question now. You know, but the 49ers have said that it is Trey Lance's team. So pretty much it seems it'll be Trey Lance versus Justin Fields. And 49ers, Bosa, I mean, Armstead, Kinlaw has done very well. Debo, Ayuk, Kittle. It's tough to pick, regardless who the quarterback is for the 49ers. So, 7-point favorites over the Bears. I hope Justin Fields, you know, can persevere despite what he's been given as of late. But yeah, I gotta go with the 49ers here. 26-17. Steelers at the Bengals. Bengals 6.5-point favorites. Now, still a bit of a question of who will the quarterback be for the Steelers between Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett. But based on events, it seems likely it'll be Mitch Trubisky and his job to lose. So, Mitch Trubisky seems like he'll be starting for the Bengals or against the Bengals on Sunday. Now, Joe Burrow did have a health scare with his appendectomy, his appendicitis, but he seems healthy, and that team just made the Super Bowl. Bunch of people saying they're one-hit wonders, and they already got a chip to prove on their shoulders or something to prove. Maybe 6.5 points is probably too much, but I'm gonna say the Steelers hang around with this firepower for the Bengals, especially that defense. And they get the victory, or the Bengals get the victory 28-24. Eagles at Lions. Eagles 4-point favorites. Now, the Lions, we know hard knocks and the culture Dan Campbell is trying to install. They won 30 games last year. You know, the Eagles have made good acquisitions as well, but I'm 4-point favorites. This is a tricky game, but AJ Brown, I think ultimately that trade for the Eagles, I think it's gonna hit them good to start. So I'm going with the Eagles to get this up 23 to 21 in Detroit. Bengal or Lions slight cover. Colts in Houston. Colts 8-point favorites. You know, obviously the Colts season abruptly ended in Jacksonville week 18 last season. Now Carson Wentz now is in Washington. Matt Ryan in for the Colts against the Texans. Lovey Smith, the head coach. Davis Mills is now the starter, a true starter. We'll really see what he's made of, but and I like him, but I think they got a tough task brewing against the Colts week 1. So I'm going with the Colts to win and cover 31 to 20. Patriots in Miami. Dolphins 3-point favorites. Patriots offense has been very strange to watch in the preseason. Now, I get in the preseason, you don't show your full hand, and you show some of the tricks of the trade for your offense. But I mean, no Josh McDaniels. It seems like Matt Patricia and Joe Judge will both be calling plays for the Patriots. Mac Jones, second year, you know, got some good stuff on offense, got some playmakers, but the scheme may be some to be desired on offense. Whereas with the Dolphins, Tua, this really is prove it year with the Dolphins. Got Teron Armstead, got Tyreek Hill to pair with Jalen Waddle. You know, I mean, the offensive line should be better. Got Matt Breida, got a couple running backs in the backfield. Defense, I mean, love Jalen Phillips, what he did in his rookie year. I think this will be another tight battle, but ultimately, I got the Dolphins winning and covering 24-17 over the Patriots. Yes, I'm wearing a Patriots shirt, but you can tell I'm being. But if you don't believe I'm unbiased, just listen to what I heard. It said Ravens at Jets. Ravens 7-point favorites. Nice little deal here. Joe Flacco versus old team. Zach Wilson's injury. You know, Ravens 7-point favorites. Joe Flacco versus Lamar. You know, Lamar obviously the Ravens had that big collapse at the end of the year, had so many injuries last season. Now they are a bit healthier. Offense obviously had some good draft picks. You know, Kyle Hamilton, I'm so surprised he left that way. You know, David Ojabo, but unfortunate that injury at Lindenbaum. But still think the Ravens will be too much to handle here. So I'm going to go with them 27 to 23. Baltimore wins. Jets cover. Jaguars at Washington at Commanders. Commanders 3-point favorites. You know, this really feels like a tone setter, like a crossroads game to start for the season for both teams. Because Washington won the division not that long ago. Yes, 7-9, but they won the division not that long ago. Now we got a young core on offense. Carson Wentz, new quarterback. You know, I think they could w- really have a shot at winning the division this year. The Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence's second season, Doug Peterson's first season with the team, you know, trying to slew out all that bad Urban Meyer influence from a season ago. How fitting that the last team Carson Wentz faced last season, he'll have to face again this season with a new team and a new stadium. So, while he exercised that demons, I like what they've done to help build around Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to go with the Jags here, though, to get the dub. 29 29-24 over Washington. Giants at Titans. Titans 5.5 point favorites. Weird number. Expecting a little more. But no surprise that since it's week one, that the highest favorite currently is 7 points. The Titans, obviously, we know, had that tough loss versus the Bengals in the playoffs that sent the number one seed home again prematurely. Now, trade away AJ Brown. They get Robert Woods. They get Traylon Burks. They get Austin Hooper. They have put more supply around Ryan Tannehill. Now, yes, Malik Willis has done some good things in preseason, but I don't think he's ready yet. Now the Giants, we all believe they struck gold with new head coach Brian Dable. It's just a matter of, is Daniel Jones the guy? You know, he declined his fifth-year option. Is he the guy? Saquon Barkley hasn't really been healthy since his rookie year. You know, damn, you got a bunch of good pieces on that offense, but whether it's Kadarius Toney, Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, Kenny Galladay, a guy's been down. But still, you have to produce with what you have. And, you know, the clock is ticking on Daniel Jones. And this is a tough start. I'm going to go with the Titans. You know, get this win here 24. No, wait, 31-23 over the Giants. Titans win and cover. Another interesting one. Got the Chiefs at Cardinals. Chiefs 4.5 point favorites. Now, if DeAndre Hopkins was not suspended, I would think a little differently of this matchup. But Kyler still has many pieces around his team. And You got that big deal. It's time to show it. Chiefs, it's gonna be different. A little different on offense. No Tyreek Hill. Got Juju Smith-Schuster. Got Sky Moore. You got some different pieces on offense. How will it flow? But I'm gonna go with Chiefs here. Still an exciting game, but Chiefs win 34-28 over the Cards. This may be the game of the week. With all the glitz and glamour going into Rams Bills on Thursday, this may be the game of the week. Raiders at Chargers. Chargers 3-point favorites. Now, we know what has happened to the AFC West this offseason. But just a matter of the Raiders. Devontae Adams. Pairing with Darren Waller, with Hunter Renfrow. I mean, Josh Jacobs behind Derek Carr. This is a team that I could see, as I said before, hoisting that Lombardi at the end of February. But then again, same can be said about the Chargers. I mean, getting Khalil Mack to pair up with Joey Bosa, getting Kenya Green in the draft was probably a very underrated selection. You know, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. I mean, they did lose Cook, but I'm going with the Raiders. Raiders, another upset win here. 35-30 of the Chargers. Packers at Vikings. Packers at Vikings. Packers 1.5-point favorites in Minnesota. You know, another two teams that have some new around them. And the Packers, losing Devontae Adams, you know, you draft Christian Watson, you have Amari Rodgers from last year, Sammy Watkins, you got a lot of new on that receiving core, or a lot of inexperience for Aaron Rodgers. And Robert Tunyon coming off an injury, you know, there's him. Vikings, new coach. They have been a bit busy as of late, you know, drafting, or I should say, trading for Jalen Rieger. I mean, they have been busy, you know. Now, yes, he hasn't been. I mean, look, he got drafted the pick before Justin Jefferson. Now they're both on the same team. I mean, in Minnesota, Zadarius Smith on defense with a healthy Daniil Hunter, I think is a very good 1-2 punch for that defense. I'm gonna have to go with another upset here. Yeah, I'm saying Vikings win, and a good one. 34, 31. Vikings get the dub to start the season. Sunday night. Sunday night. Now, this may not be the perfect Sunday night game to cap off week one. Still, it seems like a good one. The opening game from last year, day game from last year. Cowboys hosting the Bucks. Bucks 1.5 point favorites. I think is a bit generous for the Cowboys. I mean, they laid out everything week one and lost by 2 to the Bucks. They showed up, but really they were underwhelming last season with all their talent. And Tom Brady back after his absence, quote unquote. Gronk has not showed up yet, but still got a lot on the table for that team. Bucks win and Bucks cover 27-20 over them Cowboys. And then to cap off week one, Russ, Wilson in Seattle. He'll be facing his backup he had for many years in Seattle, Geno Smith. 6.5 point favorites are the Broncos. You know, it's really exciting to think about the Broncos in a positive light again. And, they're probably going to throw as much as they can at them, and they may hang around for a bit, but feels like it'll be a good culmination for Russ. So I'm going to say they get the win here 28-17. Broncos country, let's ride. But yeah, those are my week one predictions. One, two, three, four. Four upsets predictions. So interesting how it will turn out for week one, but good that football is back. I think we're all excited. Now to move on from pro football to Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, you know, it's been one hell of an offseason, it seems, for the Utah Jazz. You know, their coach, Quinn Snyder, took a leave from the team. they trade the former three-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, to the Timberwolves. So there's that. Then they trade Donovan Mitchell the other day to the Cavs, the Cleveland Cavaliers, for three players, including Colin Sexton, three first-round picks from the Cavs. So, you know, the Cavaliers were some story last season. They were as high as the fourth seed in the East. And, now reeled by a young core and now getting Donovan Mitchell. That is interesting because now you pair Donovan Mitchell with Darius Garland, who had a breakout year last season. You have Evan Mobley, who was finalist for Rookie of the Year. Kevin Love, who was also a finalist for six man of the year. I mean, you got some young, very good talent on that team. And, adding a guy like Donovan Mitchell. I mean, yes, the Jazz underwhelmed last season, with all their talent. And it just feels like a weird situation for the Jazz. I mean, trade your two best players from last season, stockpiling for the future. It's something. It's something. But good for the Cavs, a big move, you know, them not making the playoffs last season was a disappointment. And them acquiring now Donovan Mitchell seems like only cementing them as a playoff team for next season. So excited for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Most excited I've been for the Cavs since LeBron left. Or so curious to see how it goes. UFC Paris took place on Saturday, headlined by two very high stakes fights. In the co-main event, Robert Whitaker, former UFC middleweight champion, took on Marvin Vettori. And the main event, the headliner, Cyril Gain, French resident, versus Thai Bam Bam Tuivasa, who's been on a roll, a big roll as of late. But eventually it comes to an end. For starters, Robert Whitaker still shows us that he is one of the best fighters in the world. He beat Vittori soundly in a good decision victory. Unanimous decision. So good for Whitaker. Although the question is what's next, because he lost twice to Adesanya. So curious how that will go. But good victory for the Reaper. Cyril game. Cyril game. You know, I think if you ask me about Cyril game, the best definition I could really come up with is he is who the UFC expected of Chick Congo. He is who Chick Congo was supposed to be. I mean, specimen, great kickboxer, great striker, you know, same with Congo, French phenom striker, built like a tank. I mean, phenomenal shape, but Gain and Tuivasa had a damn good fight. Damn good fight. You know, I watched the highlights and it definitely deserved to be fight of the night. You know, Tuivasa dropped Gain in the second round. You know, had his moment. Gain busted Tuivasa open. I did not see how it happened, but affected him for a bit. And then the third round, oh boy. Gain landed a head kick that Tuivasa landed or ate like it was a sandwich in his lunchbox. I mean, did stagger a bit, but can't question the toughness of Tuivasa. You know, the body strikes, almost was finished by that. Gain just took over, dropped Tuivasa in the third, and won this decisive victory over the Rising Bam Bam. Now, Gain, the top of the UFC heavyweight division is in a bit of a weird spot. I say that because you got Francis, you got Stipe, you got John Jones potentially coming to the division. I mean, with a guy like Gain, I could definitely see him getting another crack at Francis Ngannou. But, you know, it's a weird situation for the higher ups of that division. So we'll see how it goes. But great fight. Fight of the night. Well deserved. Good for Gain getting a win in his home country of France. Last, before we leave, I have to mention the very good games that were of NCAA this past weekend. I mean, we had some doozies. Had some doozies. But number 17 ranked Pitt in the transition from Kenny Pickett to Keaton Slovis. They started off strong, being West Virginia 38-31 was a hell of a game, back and forth. Could not disagree. Michigan was impressive to say the least against Colorado State. Yes, Colorado State, but 51-7, you know, out the gates. Michigan still staying strong off that tough loss to Georgia in the semifinals of the playoffs, but got it done. What was an underrated game, I think, was Cincinnati and Arkansas. Arkansas got the victory 31-24. Razorbacks start strong. The defending champs, Georgia Bulldogs, started firing off on all cylinders, won 49-3 over 11th ranked Oregon. Felt bad for Bo Nix starting off his Oregon run against the defending champs, the number one ranked defense in the country. Last season was Georgia, and it was a game to forget for Auburn QB. USC now number 14. Start off strong against Rice, winning 66-14. Caleb Williams had a very good opener for USC. 19 for 22, 249, and two touchdowns. Had 6 carries for 68 yards. I mean, Jordan Addison had a good day to start from Pitt to USC. I mean, and then Utah versus Florida. I mean, Utah, my sleeper team, you know, had their chances at the end. Florida, Anthony Richardson taking over for Kyle Trask at Florida had a solid day, and Florida clinching the day with a pit interception off camera rising. You know, very good games to open up the week. So good on good. But nonetheless, that's the episode for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, click that like, leave a thumbs up. Went over a bunch on the episode today, so hope you guys enjoyed it. I did too. But nonetheless, thank you for viewing another edition of Sports Movie Topics. See y'all next week on the podcast, but we'll see how this week of football rolls around. But we'll see. Alas, thank you. Adios. Peace.